Welcome to the Mike Miller Show.
Will I be a good man? Will I be true to myself?
I can't hear it, either of you. And I did hear me over the top of it last time, which people probably hearing now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, go. It's on.
We're on.
Yes.
What a great start to the week, huh, folks? Fantastic. Humming along like a V12. We used to say V12 Jag. Anyway, happy Monday. I was just telling Jessica before we came on, I grew up, and we have Frank Camp at the bottom of the hour, but I grew up like politics. It's just not my Super Bowl like it is to Frank, but just loving it. You know, I just used to, when I was a wee lad, and at least middle school, not before middle school, but I would watch like every convention and stay up all night to see who won and the whole bit. I just was so excited about it all. And I was just telling Jessica, if I wasn't writing about this stuff for a living, or at least making money doing it, I don't even think I'd be paying that much attention to it now. And I never thought I'd live to say something like that. I did another couple of friends over the weekend I saw suggesting the same thing, that they loved politics. And now, I don't know. Anyway, I want to start off with something. This is a bit of a, it's not breaking because Limbaugh broke it first, but Rush Limbaugh, Rush, powerful guy, knows people in high places, as it were, but Rush Limbaugh was able to get his hands a hold of, I don't like a hold of, but get his hands a hold of a recording of Hillary's, like when you're on hold, right, Jessica, the message?
Yeah.
Limbaugh, in his, with all the power and strings that he can pull, El Rushbo was able to get hold of an audio recording, an actual recording of Hillary's on-hold message while she was Secretary of State. So I thought we should just probably start the show off by listening to that. Let's hear it.
Ladies and gentlemen, our microphones, our hidden microphones, are everywhere. And I happen to have gotten hold of a tape. What happens when you call the Secretary of State, back when Hillary was the Secretary of State. Now, we know that there was commingling of data and resources and people from the Clinton Foundation to the Department of State. Unethical at the least. And what's going on here is Mrs. Clinton's obviously selling access and trading access, collecting money for the foundation, which is to enrich her personally and her husband by promising access to people via the State Department. And two of her top aides are taking phone calls for people who call the foundation while they're working for Hillary as Secretary of State. And so this is what would happen if you happen to call the Secretary of State during this period of time when you thought you could get access from Hillary Clinton.
Now, Hillary Clinton's recently discovered Secretary of State on hold message.
You have reached the office of the United States Secretary of State. For directions, press 1. For tour information, press 2. For help with a problem, please press 3.
For help with your problem, please continue to hold.
You are caller number 1014.
For faster results, press 6 for our foundational concierge service. Welcome to Pay for Play. Help 3 needy Americans and get your business deal approved overnight by making a voluntary tax-deductible donation to the Bill, Hillary, and sometimes Chelsea Clinton Foundation. Enter your gift amount now with the touch-tone keys on your phone and wait for instructions. For $500, you couldn't look at the building for that. $5,000, great. You're now on our Christmas card list. 50,000 will get you a complimentary coffee mug with her face on it and a Christmas card. 5 million? How can we help you? Endorse your dictatorial regime, approve your sketchy international transaction, or provide you with needed national security secrets. For $5 million, we can do it all. Just send your request and credit card number in an email.
Hello.
Please make it in the form of a yoga class schedule or wedding planning question. But don't send it to her official email. Send it to mamamula@bymysecretaryofstate.com. Thank you for using our foundational concierge service, a product of Pay for Play. Bye-bye.
You have reached the office of the United States Secretary of State.
Did you, Jessica, were you able to hear that all the way through?
Yes, I was. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? That guy, by the way, switched over to some other company. That's way out there, random. No, I can hear you, but I'm just wondering if the folks heard the whole thing all the way there.
They can hear it. I don't. It's going out.
What the hell is going on with my listening capabilities?
I think it has something to do with Skype, but
Yeah.
we're
All
good.
right. So anyway, I thought that was pretty funny, just because anything that's truly funny is based at least part on reality, and that was based a whole bunch on reality. Speaking of Hillary, this is one of my maybe my hello. That was extremely bizarre. Hillary announced, the campaign actually announced a new program, Jessica, on Sunday. Now I'm gonna, you know how well I speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I can say this well enough. I suck, you guys. Because I don't speak Spanish. But they have a new program. This is true. The Clinton campaign, and it's Mi sueño tu voto.
Mi
sueño.
Mi sueño. SUEN with the little thingy O.
Yeah, but it doesn't have a little thingy in it. Should Mi sueño tu voto, which means
I dream of your vote.
well, this says my dream, your vote.
My dream, your vote. Okay, yeah. Mi sueño tu voto. Yeah.
Mi sueño tu voto.
My dream, your vote. Yes.
Yeah, so that's their new. This is a new voter registration drive. They just announced this, and they're rolling it out today. And they, in effect, they just come out and say it. They're attempting to draft an army of how shall we say this? Undocumented dreamers. That would be illegal alien children. At least they were children when they came to the country. To go out there and get out the vote among the Hispanic community. So they're enlisting dreamers, Jessica, to go out and register millions of unregistered Latinos.
That's interesting.
Are you shocked? Me neither.
No, not at all.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty smart if you think about it. Okay, so you guys can't vote, so we got to find something for you to do. And they're the majority. Well, I don't know the majority or not. At least some folks eagerly anxious to get that done because there is a vested interest in there, right?
Yeah.
For them to do that. The announcement, by the way, is curious. Not. The announcement made on the 4th anniversary, I think today is actually the anniversary, the rollout today, of Obama's executive order. Remember the DCA, deferred whatever action, DACA, deferred something action, which roughly translates into de facto amnesty. 4 years to the day ago, President Obama, obviously also in a presidential election year, halted, if you remember, the deportation of young illegal immigrants who met certain conditions under several requirements. But anyway, in the statement, Hillary's campaign said, in part, Hillary for America is launching a national voter registration program, Mi Sueño, yeah, Tu Voto, to organize dreamers to mobilize their communities and ask voters to consider what is at stake for the families in November. The program calls on all dreamers across the country to join the campaign's grassroots efforts to secure commitments from their community to vote for their future in November.
I like how grass votes has like no meaning now.
Yeah, it does.
Grassroots.
Astrid Silva, she's a Nevada dreamer, immigrant rights activist, explained why it's important to America's Latinos. We may not have the right to vote, but yeah, the name of that will help ensure that our stories are heard, and it will send a clear signal to Donald Trump that we cannot be silenced. I knew they'd work Trump in there. I would if I were them.
I mean, more publicity for him.
How many, just take a guess, how many, this is according to AP, this is a record number, obviously. It's going to be a record number every year forever until all of Mexico and Central America and half of South America moves here. But guess how many Latinos are eligible to vote in this country. Not all of them are registered. I would guess the majority of them are not. Guess what that number is.
31
Legally eligible Latinos in America as we speak.
Legally?
What's that number?
Legally?
Yeah.
I don't know, 30 million?
Yeah, you're damn close. 27.3 million Latinos. Now, far be it from me to be cynical about this. And it's actually smart. I mean, but obviously designed to pander to play to those folks. I would do it too. Wouldn't you?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean, that is their
Oh,
people.
hell yes. Yeah, that's part of their bread and butter, man. If they don't, first of all, they don't lock down the black vote way substantially, and the numbers that they will get, the Latino vote, Hillary Clinton would not be the next president of the United States, nor would Barack Obama have been the next president of the United States twice. It can't happen. So yeah, they have that going on. I mean, what I don't understand, and we've talked about this before, as it relates to both blacks in this country, and then maybe not currently, but certainly in the future, to Hispanics, is what's in it for them, right? What do they get in return? I mean, what has Black America gotten? I don't like that word, from the Democrat Party for more than 50 years, other than patronization, lip service. I mean, we did a story a couple of weeks ago, and as I recall, and I don't recall her name, and I don't care, but the co-founder Black Lives Matter suggested that Hillary does nothing for the black community, right? As soon as the vote's over, and there are blacks even in that I was going to say genre or category, but there are liberal blacks. I'm not talking about Thomas Sowell and Dr. Walter E. Williams and Alan West and Ben Carson and conservative blacks, but there are liberal blacks that know that the Democrats pander, but they vote for them anyway. So again, the question is, and you and I talked about this in the past, and we don't need to go all the way back through it now, but how long would the Democrats be able to pander to Hispanics, to Latinos, the same way they have for more than 5 decades to blacks? And if they did and or do, would they get overwhelmingly the same results? I think not. And I'm not Hispanic, nor do I play one on TV. So, right? I just don't think so. I mean, and I think because of, Jessica, like you and I've talked, like the work ethic and the strong family core and those types of things, I just think at some point it's like, to borrow from way back, Reagan Mondale campaign, where's the beef? I mean, at some point, Hispanics are going to, I would think, begin to think, really? I mean, talk is cheap. Right? I think you agree, right?
I think so, yeah.
To an extent, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that just don't have the understanding of things. Like but I think for the most part, there's people know when they're getting a raw deal. I don't know.
Do you think I'm giving the Hispanic community? What? Let's stop the tape here for a second. Latino, Hispanic, interchangeable.
I think so. Yeah.
I do too, and so which do you prefer, or neither, or both?
I don't really care.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't mean as, but I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of us, speaking for myself, say Hispanics, where I think maybe a lot of Latinos say Latinos or Hispanic. I don't know, but at any rate, I just am I overestimating the potential thought process of the community as a whole?
No, not at all. I just see that. I see how the a lot of the pandering and a lot of the rhetoric kind of works in their when they're not thinking things through. But I think they also see the other side of it, because a lot of Latino people that I know are also are trying to do their own businesses, so they are trying to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So I mean, they also see how it's not good on the other side.
And I have to be extremely careful here, but should I even do this? I won't, but I will allude to it. Someone did a whole parody thing, not humorously, and I maybe it wasn't even a parody, but did a whole kind of analogy a couple 2 or 3 years ago, suggesting that if and in fact, I think you and I talked about this maybe a year or two ago. If the economies were reversed, right? Mexico was the economic dynamo, and America was Mexico. Hell, I'm just going to say it because I think I've already done this, but it's been a couple years ago. Would America's blacks, because they're our minority, and Hispanics come here and they're the minority. So, would America's blacks in mass, like we see happening with, gosh, I just can't keep my mouth shut. Would they, in many cases, risk what they risk to get all the way down into Mexico to get jobs and make money to send back to their families here? I don't know. And I'm not going to answer the question, and I don't want anybody to answer it because I just put it out there. Or would any of us? Maybe that did sound racist, and I'm sorry if it did. How many of us would? I mean, I don't know. So I have some respect for that notion. People that come here and risk stuff to make money to send home to take care of their families. I have some respect for that. So anyway, did I get myself in trouble right now?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Let's talk a little Trump. I can't believe it. We're all almost 20 minutes in. First half hour. Trump has a new survey that he created, Jessica. Mm-hmm. It's the Media Accountability Survey.
Okay.
And this is for his peeps.
Okay.
This is on USA Today's site in their On Politics section. Donald Trump is taking his frustration with the media to the American people. Well, duh. I mean, he's been doing that for how long? On Monday, the Republican nominee solicited his supporters to take a mainstream media accountability survey so he can have, quote, my own poll that shows the American people disagree with the dishonest media. Okay, first of all, that right there, Donald, and as they used to say, I don't know what the price would be now, but $1 would get you a cup of coffee at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. What the hell is that going to do for him? So he can have his own poll that shows the American people disagree with the dishonest media. Don't waste your time. Just go to the polls right now, across the board. Of course people think the media is dishonest. But, again, Donald lives on Planet Trump. As luck would have it, I have that poll in front of me.
Okay. Yeah,
it's got the logo at the top, Trump Pence. Speaking of Pence, man, I just feel sorry for that guy. We have a clip later, but we're not going to get to it. Of course, we never do. But he was on with Chris Wallace yesterday, and he asked me if he's basically like the cleanup guy. Just follows around behind Trump, like the guy following the elephant at the the circus cleaning up after Trump. But anyway, so here's just a couple of questions here. Do you trust MSNBC to fairly report on our campaign? Yes, no, no opinion. Do you trust CNN? Blah, blah, blah. Fox, same thing. I like this one. On which issues does the mainstream media do the worst job representing Republicans? Select as many that apply. I think that should say, Donald, as apply. Immigration, economics, pro-life values, goes on and on. Which television source do you primarily get your news from? Or from which do you? I don't like that preposition. Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, local news, other. I think he's bashed all of those. What online sources do you use? He goes all the way down. It's all conservative sites. Do you trust the mainstream media to tell the truth? You know, blah, blah, blah. Hillary Clinton still gets a free pass from the media. She continues to lie about sending classified information on her secret server. Yes, no, no opinion. The mainstream media takes Donald Trump's statements out of context, but bends over backwards to defend Hillary's statements. This is a pretty damn scientific poll, if you ask me.
Yeah, it totally sounds that way.
Do you know, and it's always the same thing, right? You took me out of context. You misrepresented me. You didn't understand what I meant. You lied about me. I was just kidding. The thing now with Barack Obama founding ISIS, I was being sarcastic. That was after 4 days maybe, where he said multiple times. No, I was literally, he used the word literally. I literally mean Barack Obama founded ISIS. So it just, this guy is his own worst enemy. We said it Friday, and I don't want to get off on that tangent again, but so that's that. Let's, I do want to work this clip in, this Chris Wallace clip, because I feel sorry for Mike Pence. Mike Pence is a decent Midwestern fellow, and this guy has arguably, as I wrote this morning, he's arguably the toughest job in American politics. I mean, just think about it, running around trying to defend this guy. I'll shut up. Let's listen to poor Mike Pence and Chris Wallace.
Donald Trump has opened a new line of attack against Hillary Clinton, saying that she and Obama were the most valuable players for ISIS.
ISIS is honoring President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS, okay? He's the founder. He founded ISIS. And I would say the co-founder would be crooked Hillary Clinton.
You and he spent a day defending his remarks, saying that they were serious. Now Trump says that he was being sarcastic. So, Governor, which is it?
Well, I think he was being very serious, and he made a point that needs to be made.
Can you hear me?
There's no question that the failed policies of President Barack Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in the wider Middle East created a vacuum within Iraq in which ISIS was able to arise. There's simply no question.
But then why is he saying he was sarcastic?
Well, he was making a very serious point. And look, it's so
forgive
important.
Me, why did he say he was being sarcastic?
Yeah, well, he was making a very serious point. Donald Trump has a way of talking that gets people's attention, and it's drawn attention to a very important issue. There was a time when a Democrat president knew where the buck stopped in the White House, and the responsibility for the failed policies in the Middle East that created the environment where ISIS developed belongs to President Barack Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and the American people know that.
Governor, those are all perfectly legitimate points to make, but that isn't what Trump said. He said that Obama and Clinton were the most valuable players of ISIS, that they were the co-founders of ISIS. Then he said, well, I was just being sarcastic about that, just as he said he was just being sarcastic about inviting Russia to come in and release emails of Hillary Clinton's. Isn't the sarcastic excuse getting a bit old?
Well, no, I don't think it's getting old at all, Chris. Donald Trump made his way through a very competitive primary because he spoke not like your typical politician, but just plainly like an everyday American. And speaking plainly is exactly what the American people will anticipate in the course of this election. But more importantly, they're going to have a president who tells them exactly what's on his mind, and the American people are going to hear him, and hear him loud and clear.
Trump is...
Sometimes things don't always come out like you mean, right?
Are you the cleanup crew?
I couldn't be more honored to be campaigning shoulder to shoulder with a man who I believe is going to be the next president of the United States.
But you do have to clean up. You do have to explain some of the things he says.
Look, we have different styles, but as I told that little boy, we have exactly the same convictions. We both believe we can make America great again if we'll return to those time-honored principles of standing tall on the world stage, rebuilding our military, unleashing the full potential of the American economy, and letting the American people stand tall again.
Trump has...
Hopefully you guys heard that. We are having serious issues with Skype, for those of you who know Skype, and I don't know. I got nothing. Jessica's working on it. So yeah, poor Mike Pence. It's a rough deal for him, and I've joked with people. I guess I'm joking. I'm also half serious that the guy should just by default get the nomination 2020 for taking one for the team this year. It's just not a good deal. And he's got, what can he do? I mean, he did, I guess, he could have said no.
I mean,
So,
he
but,
could have.
huh?
I think he could have. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him. He's just like, and he never gets like, he's almost too stuffy. You know what I mean? But the guy does have convictions. I mean, I've followed him obviously because I'm a Hoosier. He's a Hoosier, but when he was one of the higher ups in Congress, before he left and then became governor of Indiana. But he's a decent fellow, and he has this state. I mean, we're in surplus, taxes are down. I mean, it's just down the list. He had that screw up, Jessica, if you remember, with that whole. The thing where he tried, I don't completely remember all the details, but they'll deal with businesses can serve who they want or not. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that. He probably didn't need to wade into that. And then he caved when, the heat started to come down from around the country. So, but I like Mike Pence. I always have liked Mike Pence. And I hate to see him, maybe I feel a little bit protective of the guy. Have to run around behind Donald Trump trying to explain crap. And can you imagine trying to walk that tightrope?
I feel like, I mean, I don't feel bad for him. Like, I feel like he...
I know. That's what the majority of people say. Like, look, he knew what he was getting into, and if he got into it, he deserves what he gets, right? I get all that.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him. And I honestly think, actually, when I was going to make this point earlier, I do think a lot of what Donald Trump says gets taken out of context and misrepresented. I mean,
like, can you give me an example that really comes to mind? I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
even
just
the ISIS thing, like, he goes on later to explain the statement. So it's like in all his rallies. Like, I mean, I'm not for Donald Trump or for Hillary, but
I know
the point still stands. Like, he
okay.
That he goes and says after he makes that statement, which is the one that the media puts out and everybody goes to, even the Republicans that hate Donald Trump, they want to go to that and see, like, look how crazy he is. He says, no, let me finish. And he says,
go ahead, yeah.
He goes on to say, if Obama hadn't announced to everybody, hey, we're pulling out of Iraq, we're getting rid of everybody's going to be gone, we're not leaving anybody to stay behind to make sure things are still going the way they're supposed to be going, and we're doing it on this date, like, ISIS wouldn't have been able to come into power. And
I agree 100% with all that.
But that's what he explains, and that's what his statement represents. So and he is hyperbolic about things, but that's Donald Trump. But he did explain it. Like, it's not a ridiculous statement in that sense.
All right, I got it. Okay, I agree with that last part. And way before Donald Trump even said anything about running for president, I talked about that. The vacuum left by Obama announcing and everybody's coming out of her. I get all that. I even get the thing about Donald Trump, coming out later. I get all that. But you're leaving out the critical point, which is why he got himself in such a bind with this, because it went on for 2-3 days, 4 days, where he continued to say it. He was questioned time and again, and there were even people on on cable news, trying to help him, like suggest, well, what you're saying is, you mean that, and that's everything you just said, that the vacuum that was created and blah, 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 led to the creation of ISIS. No, Barack Obama was the founder of ISIS. And then Hugh Hewitt finally called him out the day before he then comes up with the sarcasm routine. And he goes, and that's when Trump said, no, Hugh, I literally mean that Barack Obama. So Jessica, I don't want to suggest you're sugarcoating it, because you're not, but that is not the rest of the story. Donald Trump did this to himself over a 3 to 4 day period.
I'm just going with this example. And
I know.
This is just the newest one, but I do think a lot of the times it's completely misrepresented. I mean, it's like the one last week too, where it was like, oh, he's advocating that Hillary be shot. Oh, and
that was
right
complete.
Right before that, oh my God, he's advocating that Russia spy on an American politician. Like,
both of those were complete bullshit on the media's part. I agree with you there, but not on this latest deal. And his little tangle again over 2, 3, 4 days with the Gold Star parents, regardless, just because they were at the Hillary rally, and the guy did say some stupid stuff, but Donald Trump is running for president, and that guy's not. So I guess we should take a break. Let's cross our fingers and toes and stand on one foot and hope that we come back and things go smoothly in the second half. This is Miller. We'll be right back with Frank Camp.
Will I be a good man? Will I be true? True to myself, be true to you. The devil.
Doug, I never thought I could go back to school, but when it's this easy, it fits.
I'm right there with you, Jackie, taking classes, watching lectures in the living room on the iPad. It's not hard.
I can be a mom, make dinner, get my classwork done, and not miss a moment with my family. It's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Hey, it's Jackie Velasquez, and if Doug and I can do this, you can do this too. Higher education with Liberty University Online.
Find out more about completing your college degree at the world's largest Christian university, Liberty University. Get all the details right now. Grab your cell and dial pound 250. When prompted, say the keyword Liberty University.
Training champions for Christ since 1971, Liberty University Online. Find out more about learning online. Dial pound 250, then say the keyword Liberty University.
Liberty University Online with hundreds of degree programs to choose from. Call now, pound 250, say the keyword Liberty University.
That's pound 250, say keyword Liberty University.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Doug, I never thought I could go back to school, but when it's this easy, it fits.
I'm right there with you, Jackie, taking classes, watching lectures in the living room on the iPad. It's not hard.
I can be a mom, make dinner, get my classwork done, and not miss a moment with my family. It's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Hey, it's Jackie Velasquez, and if Doug and I can do this, you can do this too. Higher education with Liberty University Online.
Find out more about completing your college degree at the world's largest Christian university, Liberty University. University. Get all the details right now. Grab your cell and dial pound 250. When prompted, say the keyword Liberty University.
Training champions for Christ since 1971, Liberty University Online. Find out more about learning online. Dial pound 250, then say the keyword Liberty University.
Liberty University Online with hundreds of degree programs to choose from. Call now, pound 250. Say the keyword Liberty University.
That's pound 250, say keyword Liberty University.
With the devil inside, and I be a good man.
Welcome back as we continue to struggle through Skype hell. We're going to get that figured out sooner or later. Maybe not for the rest of the day, but we're going to soldier on. Soldiering on with us is my pal, a guy on our politics team, right, Frank?
Yeah.
In a Journal Review, the one, the only Frank Camp of New York City. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing really well. It's a billion degrees, but I have an air conditioner, so.
Oh, is it? See, it's been a billion here for most of the summer, but it's been raining, dude, for like 3 days in a row. And it hasn't rained. I mean, a lot of yards are dormant. You know how they look like they're dead?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how long it was. But it's been raining now for like 3 solid days, and it's in the mid to low 70s now. So I'm digging it.
Nice. It's like skin meltingly hot outside.
Let me ask you before we get into the obvious stuff. What do you make of this whole "here we go again" thing? And by that I mean the goings on in Milwaukee.
What's funny to me is, of course, that the media is not focusing on the fact, two pertinent facts, that the man who had a long rap sheet was armed, and that the cop who shot him was black.
Yeah, and apparently at least started to turn and point the gun at the black cop, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
But there's no excuse needed now for rioting. People just want to riot, and they want to destroy stuff, businesses that have nothing to do with anything, and destroy people's lives and get free stuff.
I don't have it in front of me, and I just barely, my brain and eyes just barely skimmed over it, but I think it's a video somewhere. It's a young black confronting, looks like white, I think it was white police officers, saying something about we can't cohabitate with whites anymore.
Yes. I just shared that on Facebook. I have it right here, actually, in front of me.
Maybe that's where I saw it. So tell me a little bit about that.
So, yeah, there was a whole, it's like a 17-minute video. I haven't watched the whole thing. But the rioters were threatening the police officers. And this guy said, let's see, where's the quote here? Some guy is heard saying, "We do not want justice or peace anymore. We done with that. We want blood. We want blood. We want the same shit y'all want. Eye for an eye. No more peace. Ain't no more peace. We done. We can't cohabitate with white people. One of us has to go, white or black."
I have a suggestion, but I won't. Yeah, I'm being facetious. It's come to that, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, the environment has been fostered by BLM and by Obama and by multiple, leftist sources that has created a very dangerous atmosphere.
Why do you think Obama wanted to do that? You and I have talked about it a lot. I mean, we probably both written about. I know I have, and others have as well. Why did he want that? And if one argues that he didn't at the beginning, he's certainly way beyond smart enough to understand it as it was happening and getting worse, and did not do anything to quell it. What's your thought?
And this is obviously just my speculation on it, but he wants to feed the agenda, or he has an agenda to feed, the idea that black people are victims. And so long as they continue to believe that, I am the victim, they will continue to vote for the party that says, you're the victim, we're going to save you. We're going to be the ones to save you. The Republicans hate you. We love you. We're going to treat you right. You're the victim. So as long as you keep putting them down. So I think it feeds into that agenda.
It does, but that's the message that Democrats have been sending successfully to Black America for more than 50 years. I mean, this goes back to LBJ's whole war on poverty thing and Bobby Kennedy all along, and everybody since. And we all know how well that all turned out. But this level, to take it to this level where these people almost feel, and I hate to use a pejorative like that, but these people feel was justified in making those types of comments that you just read. And again, would you not think, I mean, if you're him, apparently not, well, I don't know about you, but like at some point, whoa, this is not where I intended this to go. We done got the black vote locked down anyway. I need to kind of help put the brakes on this thing. He hasn't. He hasn't.
No, I don't think he has the ethical capacity to do that, or he doesn't believe it's gone far enough.
That's the scary part. Hey, I have a quote to rival the eloquence of the one you just read, and you've probably seen this. I was going to write this morning, and then I forgot to put it in assignment, and Emily got in there before me. I like this one.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, no. Oh, I do too. Frank, yeah. Okay, I like this one, this protester. It's sad because, this what happened, and because they not helping the black community like, the rich people, they got all this money, and they like not trying to give us none. I did the math on that. Just, and I that means they're trying to give us some, but he didn't get that. But yeah. They got all this money, and they like not trying to give us none. That's damn near reparations he's asking for, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a similar thing to was it 2 years ago when the rioters in London were interviewed, and they said the rich have everything, and we're showing them that we can take it. Essentially, is along the lines of what they said.
Mm-hmm.
It's a type of class warfare.
There's a hell yeah. There's an old, I will date myself here, but there's an old.
I've heard the name. I've never heard any of the music.
Alvin Lee was one of the best guitar players of the 70s. They had a song called "I'd Love to Change the World." If you YouTube it after, just for a second, I'm sure you'll recognize it. But in there is a line, and I thought it sounded cool at the time because I fancied myself as a bit of a hippie in the early 70s. In the early 70s, yes. And there's a line in there that says, rob the rich, feed the poor, till there are no rich no more, which is more prophetic than he knew because he obviously thought that sounded like a good idea. And that's exactly what these people think. And, the breaking news memo for them is when there ain't no rich no more, then there ain't nobody else to rob and carry your ass.
Yeah, no, it's a pervasive ideology among the left that the rich haven't earned what they have, and despite them paying the majority of taxes, we should tax them more and more and more until they have none left, until it's 100% taxation, even though they won't say that out loud, and or sometimes they will, and then everyone will be equal in quotes, but that's not the way it works.
Yeah, which is a microcosm of Obama's worldview, which he began to develop from his father. All one need do to understand Barack Obama's mindset is read Faith from My Father. And it was not faith of my father, by the way. It's faith from my father. And they apply, people like Obama's father and Obama and other globalists apply that same logic that we're talking to the entire planet. America only got where it got by raping and pillaging and bullying and taking advantage of other countries and their resources. And because of that, we unfairly became who we became. And then we turned inward and we built the country on the backs of slaves and children and slave labor. And as a result,
and no other country has ever done that.
No, and as a result, we deserve a comeuppance. It's exactly the same thing, only on a global scale, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's an attempt. It's similar to what Obama did in his Hiroshima speech. he drew a moral equivalence between what the Japanese did to the United States and what we did to the Japanese.
What did he talk about? Death rained from the sky that day or something?
Yeah, his whole speech was a moral equivalent that he was trying to make. And it's trying to weaken America. It's just one more shiv in the side to make America equal with everybody else. He doesn't want it to be exceptional. They don't want it to be exceptional, the liberals. And so anything they can do to weaken America's stature, they will do. And one of those things was his speech at Hiroshima.
Yeah, the only upside I see to a Hillary presidency is Barack Obama won't be in office anymore.
Yes, I mean, that's always an upside. And I think actually she'd probably be a little bit better because she's a chameleon, so whereas he's kind of a true believer.
Well, and many on the left view Hillary as a hawk when it comes to the military and foreign policy.
Yeah, she's much more of a hawk than he is.
And who knows where Donald Trump is. So,
yeah.
Speaking of the Trumpster, he's had, since you and I last chatted, he's had a bit of a rough go, hasn't he?
Just a bit.
Completely self-inflicted, stepping on his own whatever. Why does he continue to do that?
I mean, there are a million theories. Like I said, he may not want to win, but it's a possibility that he simply just cannot control himself, and he thinks, I got this far by being me, and I'm going to continue to be me, and that'll let me win. No matter if I'm 15 points down in the polls, I'm going to win. But now if you notice, he's floating the idea like, if I lose, all right, I understand. So he's starting to float the idea of if he's losing, he'll be okay with it, and it'll also be a rigged election. So he's floating all the possible outcomes out there early.
Yeah. Because last time I had John, we talked about, the fact that, like you thought, he never really wanted it anyway, and he's got to find a way to stop it, which I found fascinating. And part of me thinks that there may be an element of that in there. But, and his latest one, with the just steadfastly for 3-4 days, continuing to declare with no variance that, yes, I meant it when I said that Barack Obama was the founder of ISIS. And there were people on his side in the media trying to help him out, saying, actually, probably what you're suggesting is that Obama created, circumstances such as, no, he was the founder. And then Hugh Hewitt, right? Hugh Hewitt. And he goes, no, I literally meant. And then what happens? And then he comes out and says, then he just, I was being sarcastic, and then he lambastes the media for, the wretched, disgusting, despicable media for picking up on what he just did Custer's last stand on for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I think he's trying to play the media without realizing the media is playing him. I don't think he's smart enough to realize that he's not winning in the game against the media.
I think
he thinks he's winning.
I think he does, and I think that he has this mentality that, and this is why I don't think Donald Trump is very smart. I mean, that whole intelligence thing. I mean, you can look at it a whole bunch of different ways. We're not just talking about IQ, although I'm not real sure that his is anywhere near stratospheric anyway. But Donald Trump may do buildings, right? But I don't think Donald Trump is the brightest person on the planet, and because he doesn't get that. He thinks, he looks at himself, I was this kind of, colored outside the lines in the primaries, and I kicked ass and took names, and I killed everybody. And he still continues to think that will work in the general election, which you and I know it won't. But he told Sean Hannity, I think Thursday night, and I can probably almost do this verbatim because I wrote about it, but he said, I don't think we need to get out the vote. People that want to vote are going to go out and they're going to vote for Trump. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I think he believes that.
I think regardless of his level of actual intelligence, ego has a tendency to dampen intelligence and irrational thinking. So I don't think, regardless of what his actual intelligence level is, his ego outweighs it so much and stifles whatever intelligence is there so much.
God, yeah, and I think that's exactly right. I put up a post. It was this Matt Makowiak, I think is his name. I don't have it in front of me, but it was he started. He goes, Epic Trump tweet storm come. And then his first one was, "This shit's not funny anymore." And then he went through a whole list of stuff. But what really stuck, several actually solid pieces of advice he gave Trump. But one of his comments that really stuck with me, he said, exciting an audience is not impressive. Winning a battleground state is. Donald Trump, Frank, does not get that.
He doesn't. And he's used to being in the entertainment industry where exciting an audience, where drawing an audience is king. He doesn't understand, or maybe he does and is willfully doing this, but I don't think he understands the magnitude of what he's doing. I don't think he understands the subtleties of politics. So he's in this, and as an entertainer, he's seeing one thing when the reality is quite something different.
Which I think is actually telling on a larger scale than he also realizes, which, Ronald Reagan could be a good example. Jimmy Carter would be a bad example. I think effective presidents throughout history are guys who have had the capability, the understanding, the willingness, even if they didn't necessarily always want to surround themselves with qualified people and listen to those people when necessary. Donald Trump has clearly demonstrated throughout this campaign that he does not do that well. Paul Manafort, right?
And that's the point. He continues to say to try to reassure the reassure the Never Trumpers that to come to him, that I will, when I am elected, I will surround myself with smart people, and essentially they'll be making the decision and advising me. But he's not demonstrating that in the campaign at all.
No, and he will go down and
get the worst people to surround him, and then even with the worst people surrounding him, he doesn't listen to them even.
I mean, Paul Manafort, part of Paul Manafort, I mean, is a snake in the grass, but still, Paul Manafort has a history of running some campaigns, and he certainly has his ear to the ground and has a hell of a lot more experience at this stuff than does Donald Trump. But clearly, Trump's not listening to him.
No, he wouldn't even listen to Manafort.
That's who I'm saying, Manafort.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. So how is he going to flip this? Just like he says, well, I'm going to act, I will act so presidential, you won't even believe it. I'll act more presidential than anyone's ever acted. You know how he goes off on that kind of shtick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why aren't you doing it now? I mean, you are behind in every poll. I think that's hilarious too, because when he was during his they were up and down, but some of his semi-dark times during the primaries, he always turned to the polls. I mean, he's obsessive compulsive, almost on an hourly basis about talking about the polls. He can't do that now because he's getting his ass handed to him in the national polls. He's behind in last time I checked in every battleground state poll. So he can't fall back and say, well, look at the polls, but he
can't.
He doesn't care. He really has kind of reduced. It's almost Nixon-esque, when Nixon was in the White House in the final days of the Watergate thing. Trump has reduced himself to these dopey rallies, and as long as he can fire up the rallies and they're doing the Trump, thing, he's happy.
Yeah, and I think ultimately that's all he really wants. He's a child, and he wants the attention,
the adulation, and the attention, and you're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
he's a good manipulator.
He's a damn good manipulator. So how does this end other than him getting his ass handed to him? There's kind of stuff floating around, and it's just complete speculation and rumors that at some point he might drop out. I don't see that happening.
I don't either. If it were to happen, if it ever were to happen, it would be the RNC that forced him out.
Yeah.
The donors, really, pressuring the RNC to force him out. But I don't
see him,
barring even further, damage, I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, even with the damage, unless they have something on him and somebody really plays hardball with him and say, look, you're out or we're dropping this. I just don't see any other way. All right, we're going to just have a few minutes. I want to switch gears. Are you watching the Olympics?
Of course I'm watching the Olympics. I love them.
I didn't know that I was going to this time as much as I have, but man, it's just been, I have just loved every second of it. The swimmers and obviously Simone Biles and
she's great.
Just the whole bit. You wrote, did you not? You wrote a post about something I did not, would not have thought about, and it's not a sport that I watch, but it has to do with the Olympic shooters.
Yes, I have that right in front of me.
I would have never thought about that, but I saw your post and I went, light bulb went off. But tell the folks about that, because I found that fascinating. That I think this is a good grab for you.
Yeah, it was actually suggested to me by Megan, and she said this has potential to go big, and I said, okay, I'll take it, and it's done pretty well. So you see Team USA, and they have all their sponsors. They have Coca-Cola and McDonald's and Procter & Gamble and Citi and et cetera. And then you look at the individual sports, and they have all these giant name sponsors, but you look at USA Shooting, and every single one of their sponsors is firearm related. They don't have a single large sponsor. And the agent, Patrick Quinn, who's the agent of Kim Rhode, who's the first woman to win medals in 6 straight Olympic Games ever, pitched her to like 20 major corporations before Rio, and none of them bit because they're afraid. They're afraid of being a political backlash, presumably, of being the sponsor of someone who holds a gun.
Yeah. I mean, do we have like Bass Pro Shops or anybody like that in there, or no?
It's almost entirely firearm sellers and manufacturers. Kimber, Ellie, Winchester, Beretta, FMG. I mean, gunbroker.com. There's a bunch of sponsors, but they're all Ruger. They're all firearms related. Whereas swimming has AT&T, Marriott, BMW, Mutual of Omaha. You know.
Again, I thought, gosh, I'd never thought of that. But then as soon as I read it, I thought, well, of course. I mean, what else would we expect, right?
Yeah, and it makes sense. It makes sense on multiple levels. They don't air shooting in prime time, presumably because more people like to watch swimming and gymnastics and other things. But in terms of medals, according to Bloomberg at least, shooting brings in the 5th highest number of medals for the U.S. every 4 years.
I did not know that.
So they fund it a lot, actually. The Olympic Committee gave them $2.5 million in 2015.
Not only do they not air it in prime time, I mean, do they air it anywhere other than live stream it?
They air it on their sister networks like NBC Sportsnet and MSNBC and streaming, and they're all at off times at 8 a.m., 4 in the afternoon. Whereas gymnastics and swimming are in prime time on NBC.
Sure. Have you seen any of it?
I've watched a couple of the shooting events, yes.
Yeah, I have not. I remember. What was it? What's the one where they like ski for a while and then shoot something and then ski again? Cross country skiing. Do they still have that?
Yes, that's in the Winter Olympics, actually.
Yeah, I know. But what is that one?
Yeah, I forget what it's called.
I just thought that was kind of random.
It's a really interesting thing. Yeah, they ski and they shoot and then they ski and then they I think fire. Biathlon. I think they do archery or yeah.
Jessica just hit it. Biathlon.
Yeah, it's a really interesting sport.
Yeah, we got then they build a campfire and then no, I'm just kidding. But
build a campfire, cook some beans.
Yeah,
a lot of skill sets.
Yeah, make a knife. All right, under 2 minutes, Jessica. Maybe because we've had so many issues today, if we need one, just give it to us. But I just found this funny, and I just had to post it. But so this guy, I don't know who created this thing, but it's a graphic and it's got the Olympic rings. But it says the last day of the Olympics should be all the gold medalists playing dodgeball, and then at the bottom in larger font until we have an ultimate champion. I could be down with that. I mean, it would have to be like blood dodgeball. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think that would be the most fun thing ever. Every Olympic gold medalist playing dodgeball. I would kill to see that.
Major league killer dodgeball.
Oh yeah.
So I was suggesting that. Well, no, one of my Facebook friends said like Usain Bolt or Michael Phelps, or tall guys, long arms, athletic, and that sounds pretty good. And then another friend later down the thread said like, well, the water polo people, because they're really, they can,
yeah.
And that might actually be the killer right there. But could you see him taking out like like Katie Ledecky or somebody like that?
I think Katie Ledecky might be a force to be reckoned with in that
sport. She might. I mean, yeah, she might. But I could watch that. I think I could do pay-per-view for that thing. But at the end of every Olympics, there's just like one Olympian left standing. So that's actually...
That'd be brilliant. I would pay a lot of money to see that.
I would be all over that. All right, look, I'm going to let you go, man, and I hope when you're, because I know you you posted the link as well. We've had some like kind of major Skype issues today, and we hope to have those things fixed by Wednesday, which won't do a whole lot for today's show. But bear with us, and I appreciate you coming on as always.
Yeah, love it.
All right,
Always
brother
be back.
Brother Frank, I'll see you later, man.
See ya.
Okay. All righty. Jessica, that Ultimate Champion thing, I think that's good.
I would love that. Dodgeball has always been like my favorite sport.
When I was in 8th grade, me, and I'm saying me on purpose, but me and Eddie Wilking were always the last two guys left on both sides of the line.
I was always.
We would take out those girls like in a hot. You could never do that today in gym.
Well,
mixed boys and girls dodgeball like we played it.
Oh no, I played it when I was a kid.
Oh man, we would just nail them.
No,
it was.
Man,
It was.
I was actually, yeah, guys would always go to take me out. But I was actually really good at dodging. Like that was the only sport I liked playing.
You played it like if you got hit and you didn't catch it, you were out. If you caught it, they were out.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay, that's a real.
And
yeah,
then people
that's.
would, and then they had to make the rule like don't hit people in the face, like
Oh yeah, every once in a while it would slip, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like I sucked at like sports and PE or everything. Dodgeball was what I lived for, and I hated it because everybody else was like, "Dodgeball is so mean. I don't want to play."
Oh, so you were on it.
I loved it. I mean, because it was the only thing
man,
I was good at. I was good at catching the ball, and I was good at dodging. It was like, what else do you need? Like,
You just kind of arch your back, do that thing, and it whistles behind you. And man, dodgeball was awesome. Great. But I could just see that, man. I just think that was funny. I laughed out loud. All right, we got to get out of here. We will be back Wednesday. We're going to guess. We finally have Mark Tapson. I've been telling Jessica we have Mark Tapson come on. Mark wrote an excellent piece for Culture Rated today. In fact, it just got put up a couple hours ago, and it's this whole kind of masculinity thing in Donald Trump. And Mark takes an interesting perspective on this thing that might surprise you, given if you know anything about Mark Tapson's feelings about Donald Trump. We got that on Friday, and we'll see what's going on Wednesday. So anyway, this is a Mike Miller Show. Again, thanks for bearing with us, those of you who are still here. And we'll be back Wednesday, and we'll be good. Thanks.
I think it's time to get away.